This is Kimberly Quinn, host of the Mindcraft podcast, and I can't tell you how much fun I have had doing this podcast. I started when the world closed over the pandemic in an attempt to spread some positivity out there and give people some strategies to enhance their own well being and reduce anxiety and all of that. Now, 2 years later, we're still going strong and now listened to by 52 countries across the world. And I've even helped some of my students get going with their own podcasts. It's super easy to do. And I'll tell you, if you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it is the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. I'll just explain for you. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It is a ball. Start today. Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another Minecraft episode this morning on a gorgeous day here in northern Vermont. The birds are chirping. It's like a symphony. Anyway, this is Kimberly Quinn, and I am thrilled to kind of continue a conversation we've been that's been going on the Minecraft YouTube channel, which is about creating your own family, choosing your own family, what we would therefore call the chosen family versus the family of origin. And this is a really important conversation to have because our families of origin, we obviously have no control who we are born into. We have no control what country we're born into, what culture we're born into, what religion we're born into, what birth order we're born into. And it's very, very important. And, many families are like Donald Winnicott would say, the good enough, he would say the good enough mother, but he was, of course, back in the 50s. So we'd say the good enough family, right? So many families are, because nobody's perfect, no, therefore no family is perfect, though many families have it going on with as far as, and the kids got enough love. The parents were there the majority of the time, parent or parents, or fill those in with, granny and aunt, whomever. And it's very important and also adoptive parents, of course. It's very important to realize that for some families, you know, the kids did not get enough love that they needed. Also, sometimes it happens by accident. Sometimes, a parent dies. Sickness, death can remove people from families too, and that's obviously not their choice. But for whatever the reason, we sometimes need to venture out past our family of origin to create our own family, or partially, might have to do a whole new redo on that, kind of like I did. Or, sometimes it's a blend. Maybe you're partially adopted, but you had a loving mother or father kind of step in a second marriage or something like that, and you're just partially um, creating a chosen family. Or you might need the whole deal all over again if it was extreme and and you had some pretty severe dysfunction, maltreatment, abuse, or neglect. And as I mentioned in the Minecraft YouTube, yeah, I was so pleasantly surprised and taken back by at the recent graduation for our youngest daughter, who went to St. Lawrence University in northern New York. The whole school is impressive, honestly. Just she had a fantastic experience there, even with the pandemic, and just impressive on a million different levels. And at the graduation, I was very pleased when they said, which they say at any graduation I've ever been to, including the ones I've been a part of, they'll say, will you all please stand? But anyone who's had anything to do with the support and helping and sort of getting this just the graduate to where they are, please stand up. And they usually say families or and this one or anybody, families and friends who had anything to do with the success of this graduate, please stand up. And St. Lawrence worded it like this. They said families of origin and chosen families who had anything to do with the support and success of the graduates, will you please stand up if you are able? Also another nice thing to say. And I I felt just I got this very wonderful, positive emotional wave of finally, thank you, thank you for acknowledging the chosen families are of equal importance to family of origin. And one of my new teachers, that I've added to my repertoire of amazing thinkers that just, stimulate my mind in a million different directions. My new teacher, Jay Shetty, in his book Think Like a Monk, which is one of my favorites, I have to tell you. I've already been on this chosen family thing for a long time. And then I was, two-thirds of the way through the book, and he's got a little bit on make your own family. And I'm just thinking, wow, the synchronicity going on with me right now in these videos and podcasts is wild, because just when I'm onto a topic and I'm really feeling it and it's kind of, rolling right through me like water from a faucet, the universe just brings another piece of it to me. It's been just really wild. And so he says, in order to find diversity, we have to be open to new connections. Part of growing up at any age is accepting that our family of origin may never be able to give us all that we need. It's okay to accept what you do and don't get from the people who raised you. And it's okay, necessary, in fact, to protect yourself from those in your family who aren't good for you. And that is just so well said. And I think, many of us have been conditioned by, society, media, definitely religion, honor thy father and mother, right? We've been conditioned to think that we have to have relationships with the people who brought us into the world. Mom, mom, dad, siblings, whatever. We feel like this is obligatory. And if we don't have these relationships, especially with parents, like we're going straight to hell in a handbasket or something, like get out the asbestos suit, you're gonna be burning. And we have this inherent maybe not literally, of course, but we think that something is enormously wrong with us, and it's shaming. And and no matter what they brought you into the world, especially, just the whole biological thing. They gave birth to you, or they went out of the way to adopt you, or whatever. And that we have to have that we have to or bound to having relationships with toxic people. And no, we do not have to have relationships with toxic people. Not only do we not have to have relationships with toxic people, it's a really, really, really bad idea to have relationships with toxic people, because they are the equivalent of drinking turpentine for breakfast instead of orange juice. And the toxics can really, really bring you down, especially if they're all the way on the spectrum to the, all the way over to card carrying club members of the narcissist party. Then they really, really need to go, because their agenda is serving their own needs, period. That's it. And they will go to any lengths to make that happen. And then Jay continues, I love this. He says, we should have the same standards for our family as we do for everyone else. And if the relationship is fraught, we can love them and respect them from a distance while gathering the family we need from the wider world. Oh, wow. I love that. Oh my gosh. While gathering the family we need from the wider world, because if people are toxic, sort of, actively trying to, bring you down in any kind of way, as well as, being jealous when you you accomplish things or not. And I'm talking about chronically, not, it doesn't mean to just throw in the towel on people and not give it your last college try, of course, because none of us are perfect, and we've all got things to work on and such like that. I'm talking about the real toxics and we all know who they are. They just need to go. And as children, obviously, we don't have the control to do that. So once we are able to have the control to do that, we need to really be setting some boundaries. And in some cases, again, that the narcissist crew, generally the only thing that works with them is no contact, and that can be difficult, with different situations. If you want more on that, one good resource out there is Dr. Ramani, and she talks about gray rocking, which is something that if they are in the narcissist club, and you can't do no contact, then gray rocking is another strategy that works, which is basically kind of, small talk and so how those Yankees doing kind of thing. And just you can't give them the narcissist, the toxics. You just can't give them ammunition because they feed on it like plants feed on Miracle Grow. So as narcissism is kind of a complicated clinical situation. I'll do more on that later. For right now, we'll just acknowledge that sometimes the cards we are dealt as infants coming into the world are different, and if some toxics were thrown in there, we come to a point where we say, you know what, it's not okay. I've treated me my entire life, most of my life, whatever, and I'm kind of done. I'm really kind of done. And something called gaslighting, which again we'll get into later when we get into narcissism. But if it's a severe situation and you need to create your own family, then you need to create your own family. And this is what the graduation at St. Lawrence just had me so thrilled about, is chosen family being on an equal footing with our family of origin, because it absolutely is. Love is love, and we all deserve to love and be loved, and that is it. And family is defined by who loves you and who you love and who love you. That's it. Family is defined by love, unconditional, wonderful love. And those who are excited by your accomplishments, want to see you rise, and who are there for you, when you need to talk at 3 o'clock in the morning without judgment, willing to climb right into your rib cage and wrap around you with love and kindness and warmth, and just being there for you and listening without judgment. That's who our people are. That is our tribe. And Jay goes on to say, so this doesn't mean we should neglect our families, but forgiveness and gratitude come more easily when we accept that we have friends and family, and we have friends that become family. Friends that become family. Feeling connected at some level to all of humanity can be positively therapeutic for those whose own families had made their lives difficult. So, just to recap, sometimes you know, uh, we need to choose our own family, and that's it. And we need to become okay with that. Kind of dismiss all the conditioning and the judgments of the society at large, because I don't know where it's written, under some rock someplace, that this isn't okay. Of course it is. It is our innate right to be loved, to be happy, and to grow spiritually, emotionally, physically, every kind of way that we need to grow. And if this means to seek out your own people, your own tribe, well then so be it. That is absolutely 100% fine. And I'll tell you, it definitely took me a while, and deep into my seasoned adulthood, still hanging on to just pieces like residual. And what this is now, at this point it's been a while. What I did was just forgiveness, and forgiveness does not give somebody a pass. People get confused that it has to do with remembering and patching things up and apologies and giving a pass. It has nothing to do with any of that. And one of my favorite quotes about forgiveness ever is from Claudia Black, who was the pioneer of the Adult Children of Alcoholics, or ACOA movement, back in the 80s. I'm not sure if she's still kicking now, but boy, she made quite a difference for me and the world at large, who had come from addicted, dysfunctional, abusive families. And she said that forgiveness has nothing to do with forgetting. If you hear that whole cliche, the old cliche, forgiveness means forgetting. No, it doesn't. Forgiveness has nothing to do with forgetting, and everything to do with remembering and choosing to move forward. Remembering and choosing to move forward. Nobody gets a pass. As you know, my backstory, I was physically, emotionally, and sexually abused, and it's all in the past. It's water under the bridge. The blame is gone. What I eventually did was this in my head. I did like a little thing where I worked through it, and I said, in my head, I forgive you and I forgive me for doing the best I could with the cards I was dealt. And then I did like this, wash my hands of it, overdone, and I did this thing where I released them. I release you. Go with God, with love and kindness. no resentment, no anything. I am telling you, once you can do that authentically, and it's a process, it might not be a once. It's a process, just like anything else is a process, especially if the hurt is intense and it was over a long time, whatever, it's a process. It is a choice, though, because if you wait for the forgiveness fairy to wave her wand and dump the forgiveness dust on your head, that isn't going to happen. If you're waiting for the clouds to part so you'll be ready to forgive, that isn't going to happen either. It's a choice, just like anything else. And I finally decided I was just sick of, that, the toxics were like a barnacle on my butt, and I was just done. And I just was just done. They're not taking me down one more second. Life is too short. So I released them with love and kindness. I embraced my chosen family. My chosen family is the best. My husband's big, wonderful family. In addition, obviously, to our, the Fab Five, our wonderful young adults. And now Selena and Jamie, our new daughters-in-law, and my whole St. Mike's crew, and my crew at Champlain. And I've been blessed to the ends of the earth with chosen family. So the forgiveness thing is important, and they don't need to know. They don't need to know. Just be quietly effective, as we say, and release them and make your own family. And that is it. And just indulge yourself and immerse yourself in your new family. And that's it. Live long and prosper, as we say. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful Northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.